you all can see me and see the slide as well. So first of all, welcome all of you, and I thank you.
Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Soha.
Yes, yes,
Vijay Mali, I would like you to mute yourself. Uh, there is a noise from your background, so it is creating a distraction. Okay, thank you so much, Vijay. If anybody is not able to hear, please let us know in the chat box or unmute yourself and tell us.
yeah.
Over to you, Dr. Soha.
Okay. Thanks, Kajal. Thank you so much. So I welcome all of you to this webinar today. So also I would like to congratulate all of you on this, on being a volunteer to such a good cause. And without any further ado, I think we should get started. So now I would like to see the chat first. So I am Dr. Suha. I worked with the COVID patients for a while and I've treated 2 or 3 patients till now. There is a lot of things going around about the personal hygiene and cleanliness which we do not know and which we should all know. Our kids should know, our parents should know, our neighbors, anybody close to us, anybody who we see, we should all be able to tell about personal hygiene and cleanliness. So I would like to start with the slide. So this is the coronavirus as of 29th April 2020. This shows us that no country whatsoever, be it developed, be it developing, be it least developed, is safe or immune from coronavirus. By this slide, we can see it is the same all over, and it has been a menace all over the countries, and we all are stuck at our homes, and now the lockdown has been extended till 17th. So it is like taking a toll on us on various aspects, like maybe economic, maybe emotional, physical, mental, and everything. Apart from that, let me tell you about the background of the coronavirus. This is how the coronavirus looks from the electron microscopy. This is like the whole structure of the virus, and it is a tiny organism, but when you see it on the microscope, it looks like that. So at first, it was reported in China, Taiwan, and Japan, and later it spread to whole of the world. As you know, the virus as of now very well and even better than me. So it later spread to US, England, Iran, India, Italy, Spain, European countries, and the world's population is literally at a standstill as we've seen never before. So, how does the coronavirus travel from one person to another? The first coronavirus transmission was from an animal, which was the bat, to a human being. And from there onwards, it is a human to human spread and not from animals to humans. So basically, human to human spread occurs in 3 kinds of ways. The first one is droplet infections. Now, droplet infections are something which are spread through your sneezing, your coughing, and then the second one is people in close contact with you, like you touch a surface, you touch a person. It can even spread by touching. Yes, it can be spread by shaking hands. It can be spread by hugging, and it can be spread by any kind of close contact for that matter. Okay, and then rarely it has been seen that it spreads through fecal contamination. By fecal contamination, I mean it spreads through human excreta as well. Now, you touch an object or a surface or a person who is infected with the virus, and you touch your mouth, you touch your nose, you touch your eyes, you touch anywhere around the face, you get this virus inside your body, and it makes flu-like symptoms, and you can be a carrier of corona, and you can get a full-blown COVID disease. It depends upon your body and your circumstances at the moment. So, if coronavirus is everywhere, the question arises, how do we protect ourselves? Now, as per WHO, the nearest vaccine, so currently all the vaccines are under the trial, and we know that without the trial, we cannot use any vaccine on a human. So, all the vaccines are currently under a trial. So they would take around the September of this year, or maybe more than that, to have a proper care. for the coronavirus disease. Till that point of time, we need a lot of precautions. We need to follow a proper hand hygiene. We need to follow a proper personal hygiene, a proper hygiene with respect to our daily need objects, our daily utility objects, our own selves and our family, the people near to us, the people even on the streets who are there. And we need to actually tell everybody about this. Whatever we know, we need to disseminate the information, right? Now we need to wash the hands for 20 seconds at least, which I would be telling you in the later slides, how to wash your hands, and how to actually, and what is the right way to wash the hands, right? So you have to avoid touching your nose, you have to avoid touching your face, your mouth, your eyes. Everything that opens a hole to your body is a probable it is a channel for the virus to go inside your body. So avoid touching these areas unnecessarily. Please wash your hands before washing them. Please educate your children, please educate your parents, educate your friends, your peers, that you not need to touch the face, the mouth. People who have habits of nose picking should be told very strictly that they do not need to touch their noses very often without washing their hands, right? Also, social distancing has been heavily discussed upon, and that is the topic that I'm not touching right now, because we already know about that, and we all are experiencing the lockdowns that are sufficient for the social distancing at the moment. So I would only be elaborate on washing hands and avoid touching your face, mouth, and eyes. Okay. Okay. So this is a little graphic by me which shows that what all contains. So money, fruits, chips, and for that matter, everything. Okay. Now, a simple answer to all this is washing hands, as I said earlier, and maintenance of a proper hygiene routine. These are all, as you can see, the steps of washing your hands. There is an easy way to learn all the steps, which I would be elaborating further. So you just have a look at this graphic and get your heads around it, like how do you need to wash your hands and stuff like that. Okay, so who should be washing hands? Now that is a question that arises very often. Now this graphic shows very like very informally that nearly every person on this planet, on this earth, who is a human being, or anybody living close to you, anybody in your family, has to wash hands without fail. Everybody, everybody. If you think you're a young person, you have a really strong immunity, that is wrong. You need to wash your hands. You can be a carrier, you can be susceptible to the disease even more than your even more than your older counterparts. So you need to wash your hands, maintain all the precautions without any fail. Okay, now let's move further. So these are a really easy 7 steps as to how you need to wash your hands. So I would give you a mnemonic about washing hands. It says Suman K. So Suman is an Indian female name, and K, you think, for example, it's a surname or something. So it's Suman K, Suman and K. Okay, so Suman, S for Seedha. Now you have to wash your hands like this. You have to have soap on that, and then it goes like this. Washing your palms, Seedha. Then U for Ulta, right? So it goes like this. Then M for Muthi. You have to make a Muthi like this and then rub on both your palms. Okay, both the hands, right? And then A for Angutha. You know what an Angutha is. All of us know what an Angutha is. So Angutha, both the hands. Now N is for Nakhun. We all know what Nakhun are. So wash your Nakhun. Now these things, as you can see, are the most susceptible for the dirt to get in. So you have to take out all the dirt that is inside, and you know that very well. And the last one, K, is for kalai. So kalai is this part till here, right? You have to do all these steps for like 5 seconds. I'm going to repeat it, and if possible you can do it along with me so that you get a practice of it, right? Now the first one is S. So 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. And then 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. Then 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. That's all. That is all your hand hygiene routine here, and you wash each and every part of your hand really simply following these steps, and uh, you won't forget.
No.
Hello.
I think there's an interruption. Ridhima, we would like you to mute yourself.
Sorry,
There's
sorry,
a
sorry.
disturbance. No problem.
Okay. So I think those were really easy steps which you can follow every time washing your hands, and later on it would become a practice for you. And even if the pandemic goes away, which it would eventually, you can follow these steps forever. Like, it is the first step response towards any kind of disease, right? So you need to follow them. Now I found this very interesting meme online, and it says about the sanitizer that kabhi kabhi lagta hai apuni bhagwan hai, right? So I would stop the slide here, and I would like to ask you that what, according to you, is a better thing to do? Is it the sanitizers which need more which need more usage, or is it the soap hand washing which needs more emphasis? So I stop the slide here, and for 40 seconds I would like all of you to answer this question, think upon it, and then you can unmute yourself and then answer, and then we would discuss upon the same. So here my timer starts, and I would stop it for 40 seconds. I would repeat the question again, that please provide your inputs, whether the sanitizer is more effective or soap hand washing is more effective. You can always unmute yourself. It's not a problem, right? Somebody has raised the hand. Okay. Okay. So 40 seconds are up, and all of you are very right that we need to use soap washing instead of sanitizers. Now, we would discuss a little bit of facts about it. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yes, correct. Okay. So now, the soap wins, obviously. Now, this is a graphic by WHO. As you know, the World Health Organization. It says that that's okay. You can read the question yourself, and the answer I would dictate. So it is that it says okay. Washing your hands with regular soap and water is also effective against the COVID-19. Remember to wash between your fingers, back of the hands, and around your nails. These steps we've already learned very well. I know by now that you all guys should know all the steps, right? So what happens is, when you wash your when you use sanitizers, the sanitizers are supposed to dry out the skin of your hands a lot more than the soaps do. The second thing is that the soap is readily available, which some of you really rightly pointed out. I appreciate all of you for using the soap hand washing better than the sanitizer. Now the sanitizer is not supposed to be used on children at all. It is very harmful for them. It is actually based in alcohol, and it contains chemicals like benzoyl phenol, which are really harmful to be even kept near the children. They are highly inflammable. They dry out your skin, and also they are poisonous if people drink them up. So if any little child in your house is there, and uh, god forbid that the sanitizers goes into the mouth, it is near to a poison. So the sanitizers are only supposed to be a thing of the hospitals and not the homes. Okay, so I would conclude by saying that washing your hands with soap will do the job just fine. You don't need to find very expensive sanitizers or any fancy things for that matter. Soap and water are the best things that you can use these days. Now, we've been listening, hearing, and watching a lot about delaying the curves. Let me simply explain what a curve is. Now, curve is drawn at this moment is drawn between the number of cases and the time since the first case. Now, without protective measures, here the protective measures mean that our health response to it, our health capacity, our immunity, our social distancing, then maintaining the hygiene and everything like that. So without protective measures, we see a lot of number of cases which is going beyond our healthcare capacity, right? Now we need to follow protective measures which are proper and which keep the number of cases below the health system capacities line, so that our healthcare system is able to treat all the patients of COVID which come to them, and not an explosion of cases and people dying due to neglect of the healthcare facilities, right? Yeah. Now, the next question arises here is how to deal with daily use items. Now, the first question is that how to deal with daily use items. The question arises out of it is that what are daily use items? So, the daily use items are anything that you need on daily routine basis. For example, you need milk from outside, you need eggs, you need bread, you need fruits, vegetables, and lots of stuff like that which you need on on daily basis, and you cannot keep yourself stocked with them, and you need to get them from the daily vendors or the stores near you, for example 24/7, or any store for that matter, and you have to go out and get your vegetables and get your fruits and get your milk. So what precaution should you follow then? I would like to tell you. So these are the daily use things that we all need. We need fruits, we need flour, we need breads and stuff like that. So this slide shows that what should we do. I would like to elaborate on them a lot, because this is a very important thing to follow, and we often think to ignore that, but these are very important as well. So the non-perishable items, there are two kinds of items here. They are non-perishable and perishable. So perishable is something which gets spoiled if you do not store it as soon as it gets home. These can include the milk, the fruits, some vegetables, right? And then non-perishable items such as the bread that you can keep in the sun for a while. Then any kinds of packets of namkeen or something which you brought home, you can keep them outside. It does not it does not affect them. So they are called as the non-perishable items. So what you have to do is you have to keep your non-perishable items outside for a while in the sun for say 2 or 3 hours. It will do the job. Then you have to wear your gloves, get them inside, wash them with detergent, and then store them properly in your fridge or whatever, right? However you store them. Now, what happens to the vegetables and the fruits which you cannot keep outside for a long time? Now, you have to do a thing that you have to wash them with the detergents as well. Yes, if you think that the detergent adds a lot of foul taste to your vegetables and fruits, you can do another thing. You can have a full tub of water, and you can add some vinegar to it, maybe. And if not vinegar, you can add lemon juice to it, and keep your vegetables and fruits soaked in it for a while. Keep them away, and then you can wash them and store them accordingly. It's that easy. It's that easy. Okay. Then what precautions you have to follow while you go to the daily vendor or any local shop. Now you have to cover your face till here. Your nose, your mouth should be covered properly. You can wear a mask. You can do it with a dupatta. You can do it with a scarf. They will just do fine. You don't. If you do not have a mask, do not fidget about it. Do not go around finding the mask. You can make them at home these days also. So, but dupatta and scarves will do just fine for you. Just that they should not be, they should not be see through, or not the wool ones which have holes in them. Okay. So you need to wrap your face with them, and then if you have disposable gloves, by disposable gloves I mean only disposable gloves are supposed to be used. You can use them, yes, but you have to dispose them before you enter your house in the dustbin outside. So yeah, that's all. That's it. That is all you have to go out. Then when you get home, you don't have to touch anybody from your family. You just have to go straight, wash your hands, wash everything, follow proper hand hygiene routine, wash your face, discard your mask or dupatta, keep it outside in the sun for a while, and then wash it with the detergent, right? So these are all what you have to follow, and it would just do fine for you. You don't need to fidget upon anything. You just need to maintain a routine as to what you need to follow, and that would just be fine for you. You don't have to worry about anything. We just need to follow precautions so that we do not get the disease and we do not spread the disease as well. Okay, so the issue here is not getting the disease, it is about spreading the disease, because it's spread faster than the rate you get the disease. Okay, all right. So another question in context of this pandemic is that media and online fake news, and can you believe them? And or I mean, should you believe them or should you not? I'm sure that the people here are really, really, really enlightened and educated, that they do not follow the media. Okay, but there are certain people who cannot wrap their heads around the media spreading rumors about the pandemic. Okay, so you need to enlighten everybody about the thing that media and online fake news is not to be followed at this moment. Okay, so I would like to show you. So I found these really interesting memes and really interesting clippings from online. Now this one's from Aaj which is just for the matter of TRP. I would say they are publishing such things and showing such things on their screens, which are not at all to be in the question. Like, how can something? I mean, I rather have a good laugh on these and just let them go away. But I would like to point it out that you should not be following media at this point, especially cheap and like whatever kind of media. I know you guys are really smart and you guys can do a very good job at this, but my duty is to tell all of you about this, that you do not need to follow the media, any sorts of media, be it Indian media or the world media. No, you don't have to follow them. Can you follow the politicians? No. The answer is a big no. If the Indian ministry gives, if the Indian government gives any official guidelines, you have to follow them, yes. But you cannot believe any XYZ politician from around the world. So this Mr. Donald Trump is a very big example, telling people to have detergents and UV radiations for the treatment of coronavirus. Even he does not have any legal backing or any medical backing, any scientific backing, without any kind of proofs and this and that. He's telling the people to use it. So, in response to Mr. Donald Trump's recent statement, the WHO has released this tweet which says that the UV radiations can cause skin irritation and damage to your eyes. Cleaning your hands with alcohol based hand rub and washing your hands with soap and water are the most effective ways to remove and are the most effective ways to remove the virus. So this only shows us that how important is the emphasis on your hand hygiene rather than using UV radiations or anything like that. You don't need that. Now, what sources you have to follow in the pool of all the fake news and everything? You have to follow the ICMR guidelines. ICMR is the is the premier most institution in India for issuing health related guidelines. It conducts studies and researches based on small samples and small pockets of populations, and it is a very renowned organization in India in terms of medical knowledge and guidelines. So you can follow the government of India's uh, any sorts of press releases by government of India. You can follow them. Definitely, you can follow them. Then the World Health Organization is to be followed diligently. You can go up to their website and see all the latest number of cases, latest number of spread, latest news about coronavirus, and you can also alternatively follow the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare's website, which has loads and tons of great information upon related to the coronavirus. Also, I would like to mention here that your respective states also have formed certain amount of apps, certain websites. You can also follow them, right? And then lastly, I would like to say that the app called Arogya Setu app is a lot in trend right now, and you should definitely download that and get information about that. It is an easy access to both the government the government notifications regarding the virus and the health ministry's notifications, and also I think it contains information from the WHO as well. So that is a one stop solution for all of your information. Other than that, you do not need anything in your life in terms of news at this moment of the pandemic. Okay, now these are some clips which I found from really legit sources, and this is how they look like. They are not masala, they are nothing. They just have pinpoint information of what you need to know. Now, I would like to also emphasize upon the Ministry of Health and Welfare's efforts in creating a really interactive magazine called Vayu for young children. You can always download that and see it's actually a comic related to the coronavirus, which the children can understand and read easily. It contains a lot of pictures. It's interesting, and it would definitely educate the children about what is going around. Like the children are really affected by this pandemic, and they are the ones who want open spaces, and they are the ones who want open spaces for their development, for their uh, all kinds of things, and they have to run around and do things. But they've been limited by this virus, so you need to explain them very 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 properly that what is happening. So the Vayu magazine by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is a great initiative by the government, and you should download that magazine and show them around. If you have little niece nephews, anybody, your kids, your grandchildren, and anyone for that matter. Now, I found some really good things in and around which can lighten the mood in these days of the pandemic. So, we have all started noticing the small things. I'm sure you know how many sparrows you have in your house. So, you are growing really closer to your inner being. I know that. And if you're not, you still have the time to grow near to your inner being, right? Now you can do a lot of kitchen gardening. You can grow little herbs around, uh, which would enlighten your mood, which will lighten you up, definitely, right? Then the food waste is definitely reduced. You don't have to go out, eat junk food, throw the plastic of the food around, which creates a lot of dump waste in the world. It has reduced extensively. Then the pollution is obviously less. Your family time has increased to like many folds, and which is an excellent opportunity to reconnect with your family again, right? So you have to love yourself, then appreciating everything which is happening. You know, everything happens for a good reason. Maybe uh, years, couple of years from now, we are telling the stories, and yeah, so these are really good things. And also yeah, you have to respect everybody who is working in this environment: the healthcare workers, the policemen, the sweepers, everybody, the vendors, and the people who are in this service despite of the dangerous pandemic. So we need to respect them all. Now, that is the tiny Buddha saying that you need to choose your inner peace. I call for questions now. I would be stopping the slide here, and then we would discuss, have a little discussion for a moment or so. So we shall all overcome this. These are my credentials. If you want to contact me, that's the end. Okay. Yeah. So you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. That would be really appreciated. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Ridhima. Hi.
I'm so sorry. Give me a second. Yeah. Hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So before 2 days, we didn't had any cases in our city. We were under green zone,
Yeah.
but right now we have around like 4 cases of coronavirus. So like everything is sealed down in our city, but what I feel is people are not aware of this vendor buying thing. So they used to buy things, they don't wear gloves. So how can we actually tell them that it's very important if you go out and just wear this glove? Because I think
Yeah.
people buy stuff but they are not wearing gloves, and
Yeah.
now when we have cases we have to, the cases don't increase much. So how do
Absolutely.
we protect ourselves from this thing now?
Yeah. So thank you for the question, Ridhima. This has to be very loud and clear out there that we need to be really protecting ourselves from the vendors. The reason being that the vendors are going a lot of places, they go to around 50 houses a day. So even if they contact 50 people, it may be a chance that they can be carriers for viruses, right? So the first thing is that you always have to have a mask or a dupatta, or so this should be very clear that the moment you step out of the gate of your house, you have to wear a mask, you have to wear a dupatta, you have to wear a scarf around your face. You don't need to run around finding for masks. You can easily do the job with a dupatta, with a synthetic dupatta, with a cotton dupatta, and you have to cover it up till this. Now in the context of gloves are something which I would recommend only if you have access to disposable kind of gloves and not any kind of gloves. Now even if you wear the gloves that we find, uh, also there is another idea that if you have empty polythene bags at your home, you can use them to wrap around your hands and then dispose them. Then alternatively you can wear gloves on your hands. And why I say that anything non-disposable is not to be used, because uh, uh, because I don't know if the person is washing them diligently or not. But if you have to use normal things, like if you have to use a dupatta, if you have to use socks as your gloves, you have to come back home and quickly keep them in the detergent for a while, so that anything that has been in contact with you goes away. And same goes for your clothes when you come back home, right? So uh, it's not just the people spreading it, the surfaces are also spreading it. So surfaces, I mean, you touch a fruit, it has the virus, so it can spread it, you know. So you need to be really, really, really careful about anything, any part of your body touching the fruit or anything for that matter. Can you tell us more about the transmission? Yes, sure. The transmission of virus as of now has been spread by the droplet infection. So by droplet infection, as I explained earlier, droplets means that if I sneeze, the person next to me can get it via the droplets of the sneeze, the sputum that has come out of the nose. Then if you cough, the saliva comes out. The saliva can spread the virus. Then the second one is by touching the fomites. By fomites, I mean objects, touching the objects. Uh, uh, when you touch anything like metal surfaces, plastic surfaces, fruits, vegetables, and any kind of object for that matter can have the virus, and you can definitely contact it by touching any kind of surface. Now the third is the fecal contamination, which I told you is very rare and has been reported in only 2 cases all over the world, right? Then the people are also asking about that I am pregnant, I can I transmit the virus to my child? So as of now, only one pregnant woman has contracted coronavirus in China. Now she did not transmit the virus to her child, but obviously if the child is kept near to the mother after the birth, there is a definite chance that the mother can transmit the virus to the child. So you need to keep them separately for around whatever the quarantine period the hospital decides. And yeah, that's it. So there are newses coming up relating to the airborne transmission. Airborne transmission means that the virus is in the air and you can just breathe in without any kind of surface contact or person contact. But those reports have not been proven, so we currently are not following those protocols or guidelines since the WHO hasn't released anything about them. Till then, we cannot say that has it been spread by yeah. So airborne virus, like I was telling about it, that it has not been properly put out there by the WHO because it has currently not been proven that is it spread by the air or not. As in when it would reduce it would tell us about the guideline, then definitely I can elaborate upon it. But as of now, the data is insufficient to comment about the airborne transmission. Yeah. Yeah, you're most welcome, Vidun. Any other questions? Okay, so Sakti has asked the question that is there any standard recovery time for all patients or it varies case to case? So ideally, the recovery time for patient was around a month. In a month, they were properly and they had a negative corona test, right? But as of now, there has not been any proper not a time limit or a time stamping being given to the virus, which is unfortunate because we do not know how much time the person is going to be positive with the virus. So as of now, we do not have that information. because it is greatly varying from case to case. Some people have it for 1 month, 2 months, and but not more than that. I would like to say that 1.5 month is more than enough for a person to be treated. Now what happens is there is a definite timeline to it, that the first 5 days you have flu-like symptoms, the second 5 days you have a break bone, pains in the body, you have high fever, you have all sorts of cough, you have less energy in the body, you're not able to breathe, you have difficulty in breathing, and then you start recovering from the disease, right? So by the time your test for coronavirus comes negative, it is the 15th day. Now why I said 1 month, because by the end of 1 month you are definitely supposed to be cured of this coronavirus. And there are some patients who have shown to be infected with the virus a second time. They have been treated with the virus and the test was negative, sent home, then the patient came back again, and you had a positive coronavirus again, right? So it is greatly varying according to the cases, and we do not have a specific timeline for it. But ideally this should be it, within 15 days all these symptoms come up, and then it tests negative for corona. Maybe it can reoccur, maybe it does not reoccur. We do not have a really constant answer to that. Okay, how can we boost our immunity power? So Vijay, we can boost our immunity power by using all the vitamin C sources. Vitamin C means mango these days is a great source of vitamin C. You can have lime water, shikanji, lemon water. So you can have lemon water and everything like that. Also, if you are prone to a lot of allergies, you should have a Limsy tablet. Limsy tablet is a vitamin C tablet which is easily available. It is a chewable tablet. You have to chew it for like once or twice a day. It will be enough, right? And also, I would like to say that the immunity power depends, it is actually a long-term phenomena. You need to have a balanced diet from the very beginning of your life to have a great immunity. You need to exercise daily. You need to do breathing exercises, and that would lead to a great immunity. And immunity is not built short term. It is a very long-term phenomena. Okay, but you can follow easily. You can have citrus fruits. You can have vitamin E. I hope that answers your question. Then a person can get positive. Um, yeah, definitely. As I told you, there are cases which came positive after being negative. Yeah, there are I think 10 or over 10 cases all around the world which had that. But that is a very rare phenomena. You do not need to be uh yeah. You're welcome, Ridhima. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Yeah, you should educate as many people as you can about this, but be sure to maintain a proper distance by doing that. I think that we do not have any other questions.
Yeah, I think we are not expecting any more questions.
But
I
you
think
can
we'll
also
wrap it
share
up.
the email ID if they want to ask any
Yes,
questions.
yes,
Huh?
yes, definitely. Yeah. So, we are participant, we are gonna share Dr. Soha's email ID. So, whenever you would feel like getting in touch with her, please feel free to contact her. And thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much, Dr. Soha, for such an insightful session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.